Hello! Today we're going to be setting up our guitars. I am going to be doing two types of guitar today. So we have our Fender-esque Stratocaster and our SG Les Paul Gibson-y type guitar. These are both set up in kind of two separate different ways, but we're going to be looking at both those ways. Now for this, we're going to need a few little tools. None of them are expensive. A set of Allen keys, screwdrivers. Also one of these, which is a handy little measuring tool. It's called a string action ruler. You can pick these up for literally a few pounds. A tuner. Your headstock clip-on tuner will not work for this process. And also a capo, because you do not have three arms. If you're like me and you like buying second-hand guitars, you're going to need a few extra little things. A rag for cleaning up the last person's grime. 3-in-1 oil or WD-40, and also some lemon oil. I have Dunlop 65, which I really like at the minute. Now, if you have a maple neck like so, you're not going to need the lemon oil. You don't need to clean that neck. You don't need to treat it. You just wipe it off with a damp cloth if it ever gets dirty. But for rosewood necks, you're definitely going to need to do it, and you're going to need to do it quite regularly because there is a lot of grime on your fingers. First things first, once you get your new guitar or used guitar, I personally would take off the strings. You don't know what gauge they are. You can kind of guess at it, but you should be putting on the gauge that you prefer. This is all going to affect the setting up process. There's a completely different setup for 11s or even 12s if you're a monster compared to 9s or 10s. So off with the strings. Looking closely at this neck, you can just about pick out, especially on this 12th fret, there's a lot of grime in around here. It's pretty minging, so you want to take all of that off. Get an old toothbrush, not one that you brush your teeth with. Get scrubbing. Let's spray some 3-in-1 oil on here. Bop, 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 bop. We're going to get scrubbing away, so let's watch this come off. Much better. Wipe off all that oil. Rip. Yep. We're going to treat this neck with our Dunlop 65. Spray it on and give it a little wipe. And oh, look at that wood. The best thing to clean your guitar is 3-in-1 oil. It breaks up lots of grease and lifts that off the body. So again, boop, 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 and get wiping. Once you've got your guitar all cleaned down, on a rosewood neck, you'll be using lemon oil. On a maple neck, just a damp rag will do. Put your strings on and get it in tune. And then what you want to do is you want to get a capo and put it on your first fret. You're going to take a finger and you're going to put it where the neck meets the body. And what we're going to do is we're going to check the truss rod, which is a rod that runs down the neck. If your truss rod is going to be too tight, you're going to get back bow. You definitely don't want that. And if it's too far forward, then your truss rod is too loose and it will need tightened. Do not be afraid of truss rods. They are a perfectly fine process to do. You will not break your guitar if you are a normal human being. Just put your finger there where the neck meets the body and look at the 8th fret, and you should have the clearance between the string and the neck of about a business card. This neck is a little bit too tight, so I'm going to have to loosen it. To loosen it, I'm going to turn clockwise. To tighten it, I'm going to turn anti-clockwise. The size of the Allen key depends on the type of guitar. If you've bought it new, you more than likely got a set of 2 Allen keys, and it will be the bigger one that goes in. So I'm going to have to loosen this slightly. So just a little 8th turn every time is more than enough. A quarter if it's really bad. And now what I'm going to do is retune the guitar and check the spacing again. Now that you've adjusted your truss rod, the next step is to adjust your string height, or what we'd say your action. On Stratocasters and Telecasters, you'll find these little things down here which are called saddles. You'll need a little tiny Allen key, which is usually supplied with a brand new guitar, to adjust these. The ideal height which you should go for is between 1.5 to 2 mil. For your big thick E string, and your little skinny E string, you want it to be between 1 and 1.5 mil. So to adjust it, you just get your little tiny Allen key, and insert it into one of these slots and turn to raise or turn the other way to lower. On Les Paul style guitars, it's a little bit easier to adjust your action. Just raise here and you raise here. Yours might have a little screwdriver slot here and here. Turn it to raise it or turn it the other way to lower it. After you've set your string height or your action, the next step is to set the intonation. This ensures that your guitar is tuned the whole way through. So if I play a G here, it's going to be in tune here as well. The intonation is controlled by little screws on your bridge. You're going to have to plug in your guitar and plug it into a tuner. Now here's a little tip for really accurate tuning. Switch over to your neck pickup. Roll your tone down halfway. That's going to ensure there's no other overtones or anything that's going to affect your tuning. Once you have it plugged into your tuner, tune it open, and then you want to play your 12th fret and check that on your tuner. When doing intonation, we use the 3F rule, which is fret, flat, forward. So if I play a fretted 12th and it reads up as flat on my tuner, I know that I need to move this little saddle forward. And keep doing that until it's perfectly in tune. Now, if it is sharp, we do the opposite. We move the saddle away from the neck. After you've done your intonation, the last step that you might want to do is your pickup height. If you decrease the space between your pickup and your strings, you're going to get a higher output. If you increase it, you're going to get a lower output, but you are going to get a little bit more of a vintage tone out of your pickup. If you raise your pickup too much, you're going to get those magnets in the pickup pulling at the string, and you're going to get this double overtone weirdness happening, which you don't want to happen. So there is a point at which you have to stop. Just plug it in, adjust your pickup heights, listen, and see what you can get to suit your tone and your way of playing. After you perform all of these adjustments, I know for a fact that your new instrument or second-hand instrument will be playing as good, if not better, than some of the pro instruments out there. These little tiny adjustments and these little bits of knowledge can really go so far to get the best out of your instrument. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, leave a comment, tell me about your new guitar, tell me if the setup worked out quite well for you. Do subscribe, because I will be fixing up that vintage VS6, the SG copy. It has a few inherent problems that need sorted out. We're going to be rewiring lots of different types of guitars. We'll be looking at budget pedals, we'll be looking at bougie expensive pedals, we'll be looking at all sorts of types of gear. I also do my performance videos, we'll be looking at some songwriting, etc. So if all that content sounds good, hit subscribe, hit the bell button so you get a notification when a new video goes up. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.